Hello, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to a very special episode of Ongakudu. I'm your host, Ken, and with me we have Luna.
Hello, everyone.
I say this is a very special episode because we didn't plan for this episode for the most part.
No, I'm just really excited about doing this, and there's a very special reason why we're doing this.
So there's actually two reasons why we're doing this. First is to talk about the lovely performance that Kamiki did for Nakakon, was it?
Yes, it was Nakakon.
Okay, that took place this past weekend. So
March 15th and 16th, so Friday and Saturday night.
yeah, so with that, Luna, why don't you kind of go into your experience? Explain to me the lovely trek that you took from where you live to where was it, Kansas?
Yes, it was technically Kansas City. It was in Overland Park, Kansas, which is a suburb of KC. So I originally thought it was in Kansas City, Missouri, but you don't realize how close they are to each other. You just cross a little bitty river and you're in Kansas. So it was about a 3.5 hour to 4 hour drive for me if you include my three stops there, which I drank way too much Starbucks to go. So you can imagine that. But it was a pretty fun drive. It was worth it. Or let's just say not a fun drive. It was boring. But the concert was worth it. The convention was also really great. I've never been to Nakakon. The whole reason I actually went was just to meet Aya Kamiki. I've been a huge fan of her since, oh my gosh, it's been a long time, probably since I heard her song Perio, Patio. I heard that years ago. I loved it so much that I ended up buying pretty much almost all her albums at the time, besides her indie ones that I've been still trying to get a hold of. So to me, this was very special, and it wasn't super far for me to drive. And I do enjoy conventions, but it was really all for her. This got me to say, hey, I'm getting my ticket for Naka. I'm driving up there. I'm going to see her. I brought some of my goods for her to sign. So, due to NakaCon rules, we could only get one thing signed and a photo, or you could get two things signed. And I chose to get one thing signed and a photo, which you will see me post on Instagram soon, I promise. So I really like that Naka does that. You get to see a really great concert, and this was very special for her and for anyone in the U.S. who got to see her because this was her first live concert she's ever done overseas.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, she's never done any other concert overseas, so this was her first concert anywhere outside Japan. This was a big deal, so that was the other reason. I'm like, I'm not missing this. And Kansas City, of all places, which is in the middle of the, United States, who would have thought, usually it's New York or LA. So being somewhere that I can actually drive easily was great for me, and she had a great turnout. There were a lot of fans who came from all over to see her, who showed their support. There was one I met, became good friends with. You probably, if you're listening to this, you know who you are. We met in line and we were talking. We also had talked on a Japanese music group on Facebook, but he flew all the way from San Francisco to see her,
Oh.
and I was just flabbergasted. And I thought that was so awesome, to go that far to see a singer you really care about. And, that was me driving that far. There was another gentleman in line who drove 6 hours to see her. And I got there early. I got there to the convention around 2. The concert didn't start till 8:30, so I just hung out for a while. She had a little fan good booth there. You could buy some goods. I kind of scoured it at first, thinking I already have most of these. I don't need to buy them now. I went back to that later. Let's just say that and purchase some more items. But so I'll go into the concert. So it was a 2 hour concert. So this she labeled her one man live, and it was literally 2 hours. It was amazing. And I got there an hour before the concert and sat down because I ran in there as soon as they let people in. I was right in the front, center of the stage.
Hmm.
And Yes, I was not missing it. My feet hurt horribly, from walking all over, but I'm like, I'm standing up, I'm jumping around, I'm so excited. I've never been so excited to see someone before. And she started out singing Petio. That was the opening song, and it was amazing. I mean, she did not disappoint. The energy she had with the crowd, she got, and the band members she brought out, which was amazing. She brought out Leda, who's done some Visual K stuff. He's also worked with Baby Metal. He's a guitarist. He was phenomenal, and then she brought out Taizo, who was on the bass, and then she brought out Mabo, who was on the drums, and they did such a great job working together. Just the stage presence of every member, and I mean, there were so many memorable songs she did. It's amazing because her set list, starting out with Petio, and she did Revolver, which I love Revolver. She did Misukake no I Love You, and as soon as that came on, we all got into it with our hands up, we're swaying. They got this, everyone started getting their cell phones out, turning the lights on and swaying to it, which was amazing. Same with Natsuhiro Aruhi. We did the same thing, with the ballad songs. It was great. She did 248 Mile, Black Swallowtail, Youthful Diary, which is another one of my favorite songs. I was singing along to that and had my arms in the air, swaying to it. She did I Wish in Your Dreams, which is another song I absolutely love. She did WBX, Satisfaction, and my favorite song to this day is still Are You Happy Now? It used to be Petio, but it is Are You Happy Now? I absolutely love that song. And when that song came on, I did record it, but my recording, I will post these later so everyone can see, but I was jumping around. I was literally up and down jumping, and my camera went with me, so it's a very bouncy camera.
So what you're saying is I
But
shouldn't watch this video if I'm like drunk or anything like that.
yes, but I took videos of a lot of my other favorite songs on there, and it was just phenomenal. I stopped recording after a while just because I got so into that concert that I wanted to enjoy it, but I had to record Are You Happy Now? And she ended it with Secret Code, which I love that song as well. And there was so much energy. She interacted with the crowd. She did have two MCs and had a lovely translator with her named Tomo, who did translation. Aya-san did, speak English, to the crowd, and I think she sounded great, and that was just amazing. I cannot explain how happy I was to see this concert and witness it. It was just so amazing, and I can't wait to get the videos up, and I'd like to do a little mini article on it. So after the concert, they did an autograph session, which I thought was really cool, and thanks to a good friend of mine, I was able to get an autograph ticket. I don't want to get this person in trouble or anything, but this person was super sweet and was able to get me a ticket since I couldn't be there till later. And so I got that, and I did get in line, and I got her to sign the Aya Kamiki first live concert DVD. And I got her to sign an inside booklet, which in a way I regret because it's so slick you can't really see the signature very well. But you could still see it, just not as well as I hoped. But that meant a lot to me for her to sign because it was the first live concert she did. This is her first live U.S. tour. So for me, I really wanted her to sign that. And so I got her and all the band members to sign it, which was awesome. And they were all really nice. And Leda commented when he saw the DVD, he looked at Ayasada, he's like, "You were so young." And you just hear her laugh, and it was funny. And she's still young. She's gorgeous, and she is so, so sweet. She is like the nicest person. I got to hug her. She shook my hand. I got a photo with her. I did use my Japanese a little bit, but I was really, really shy, and I wish if I could have talked to her more. But Naka does, limit it to about a minute with each, person, just because they got a line and got to make sure everyone gets the chance to meet her. So, which I wish if I would have hung around later, but I was so tired and had a long, long drive back. So I didn't get to hang out afterward, or else the nice thing is she hung out with a couple of the fans afterward and talked to them, which I thought was really sweet. And it was just such a great experience. The gentleman I met from San Francisco, he actually brought Ayasan's first single she did under the name Kurimu, and it was her single Breathe. And just seeing her reaction when, she saw him bring that, I'm just like, even I was shocked to see that, because it's a really, really, really hard single to find.
Mm.
Very difficult. And I talked to him about that when he showed it to me. I'm like, that is so cool, and seeing her reaction to that, she was so surprised. I wish if I could have stayed for Saturday's show, because I heard that was just as amazing. It was only an hour long, but I just heard it was a fantastic time. And if anyone ever gets a chance to see her, if she comes back again, to the States, which if you're listening to this, Aya-san or Momo, I really hope you come back. And just so you know, St. Louis does a lot of indie concerts and has a lot of venues here for rock concerts. So you guys should come here. The Ready Room's a really, really good place. Or you could also go to Chicago, because they got a lot of nice venues there too. But we would love to have you back in the States. You were amazing. I would see you over and over. I have never been so happy to see a concert. It was, I just cannot describe, my happiness on that. And it was just exciting. I ended up buying a towel because they had her tour towels there. And they also had a photo book that was signed with a single in it. And I bought that too. And I also bought the Final Journey because I didn't have that. And I didn't have the limited edition version of Individual Emotion, so I bought that too. So it was great. I can't describe enough how amazing it was.
Yeah, I mean, being able to go and watch these kind of events is always just amazing. Always, always just amazing. And, we wish that she could come back again just so that we could see more of her stuff. Because, like I said, people from all over the U.S. came to watch this concert. And, having the chance to perform and people all across the mainland there is an amazing thing.
Oh yeah, it really is. And there was a lot of people who didn't know who she was and went and just loved her. So I thought that was even more amazing. And she really, I think she gained a lot of new fans.
Mm.
So that made me happy just seeing that, and just her stage presence and everything. She seems like such a down to earth person. Like the short time I met her, she is just so, so sweet. And it just made an impact on me, meeting someone that I've loved her music for a long time. And just even the other fans, seeing the smiles on their faces of them finally getting to meet someone that they have, loved her music for years as well. So I feel like it was a great experience. And I would do it again, except I wish if I'd go back and try to do Saturday too. I should have drove 4 hours back again. If I wasn't house and cat sitting, I would have. I would have taken that trek back. She was worth it. So.
But yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that you're able to go on this experience. And hopefully, you'll be able to join me on the next experience in a couple weeks, right?
I hope. I don't know. I'm pushing it.
But yeah, besides...
So we'll see.
We'll see. Besides that, let's move on to our next piece of business of why we're kind of here. This kind of news kind of broke within like the last 48 hours, I want to say.
Yes, it did. And it went up fast. I mean, it was really shocking. I woke up really early, 5 a.m., and I saw, that was the first thing I saw. And I'm like, holy crap. What just happened? I was like in shock, and it was too early for me to process. I'm like, well, I'll have to read about this when on my lunch break at work.
But yeah, that is the news of Kana Nishino is getting married. And
Yeah, it's It's very surprising. And, well, you know what? I take that back. It's not
Yeah,
surprising because when she went on hiatus,
I told you.
my first
I told
thoughts
you.
were marriage or
I
pregnancy.
told you
It was
guys.
one of the two. I agreed with you on that, just because I just didn't think it was just going on hiatus. It was something more than
Yeah.
I want to see the
I was
world,
like,
and I'm very very happy for her.
it's
But
it's interesting
we knew it was
because
coming.
she says that, and I was like, nah, she's trying to see the world with someone before it's too late. So it's either she got married or is going to get married, or she's knocked up and is going to get married within the next couple of months. And sure enough, only a month later, after the release of her latest concert in Yokohama Arena,
Oh, that concert's not out yet on
yeah,
Blu-ray. It already ended in Japan, but it comes to Blu-ray April
yeah.
24th. Just a heads up. It's already sold out on Blu-ray. Sorry, guys.
But she announced that she got married on her blog, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And it was to her former manager, which she's been dating for 3 years. And I forgot about that, to be honest, because it was such hush hush
Mm,
after she broke up with her dancer, which I don't remember how many years ago that was. So I don't blame her for keeping it really secret because, some fans go a little crazy. Or, but I'm happy for her, and I don't blame her for wanting to go see the world with someone and settle down and enjoy their time together because, being a singer and on the road all the time, she wouldn't get to enjoy that.
well, first of all, I'm kind of mad. But then that tells me I should break into the music industry as a manager. But, all kidding aside, I'm super happy for her. And I would wait for this news for our regular news segment, but this is kind of big thing for her and the industry in general because not only did Sony lose their biggest breadwinner, she ended up getting married. So, and that unfortunately that kind of hits some things.
Yeah, and the thing is there's a chance that she could go on hiatus for maybe a year, or she could go there longer. She could take a couple year hiatus. Look at Utada, who's taking, the 4 year hiatuses. Kanayan could do the same thing. I mean, who knows? She could do what Otsuka did, take a small hiatus and come back. She could take a longer one. We don't know. It's kind of a big question, and I'm sure Sony would welcome her back with open arms just because she's still one of their biggest singers, and since she resonates with both males and females, I don't think she'd have a problem with her still selling and her popularity.
Yeah.
I think she'd still do very well when she comes back.
So, I want to bring this up to you now because we had this conversation earlier in the year. Well, later last year. Who do you think is going to take that number one spot now?
Oh, you mean for
For female solo
for
solo female artists.
I mean, right now, there's actually a poll on Yahoo Japan, and it's between Ayumi Hamazaki and Namie Amado. Even though Amado Namie is still retired, sorry, I keep switching because I'm so used to saying Amado Namie. Even though she's retired, she's kicking butt. Her and IU have been neck and neck.
Yeah.
And the shocking thing is Kodakumi was not on there. Kana Nishino came in at 3%, while IU and Namie were 40-something%.
I mean,
They were literally almost tied.
it's understandable.
It's been flip-flopped.
It's understandable because those two had such a big pull in the music industry. But besides Emerald and
I don't know. Should we rule out IU because she's still going?
I was gonna say
We don't know how for
we
long.
don't know how for long. I mean, IU would be the top of that list, but give or take 2 more years. I don't want to put a exclamation point on that, but just to say, like, unfortunately, she's gonna go deaf, and I think when
Yeah.
she does fully, I think that's pretty much it, right?
I don't know. She said she was gonna keep trying even if she did. She stated she was gonna keep trying, so we'll see what happens. If we had to rule out those three, I would say Kodakumi, but the thing is I'm trying to think of who else who's a solo female artist who does well. Aimyon is a contender, but she's still young and
Yeah.
still making her career. But she's been jumping up into charts, but she still doesn't have the pull
Mm. Uh,
yet because she's still so fresh in the industry.
yeah, and I think we can judge that once 2 years pass.
Yeah.
And I think
I mean,
it's
this is her
still,
second
yeah, this is her
album.
second album,
It's
and it's been doing super super well.
But I still say give it a couple more years. I mean, Miwa is another contender who always does very, very well,
Yeah.
always charts very well. I mean, I could see her. I feel like she doesn't quite have the pull like Kanayan and IU and Koda do, but I feel like theirs is also due to their style of music and their ever changing style of it as they develop over years. Well, I love Miwa, but a lot of her music stays the same. It develops, but it still stays the same type of genre. While I feel like those other artists have gone with so many over time and switched it up. So it's really hard to say on who would be that number one. I mean, there's Nakashima Mika, who still sells very
Who
well,
still sells
but
very
I feel
well.
like
Yeah, but
she she doesn't release as much as she used to. Plus she's also a model and an actress as well, so I feel like she has other
yeah,
obligations.
I would think if this was 7 years ago, she would probably be on that list just a little bit more.
It's just hard to say since a lot of things have revolved lately around idol groups for female solo artists. I feel like there aren't that many who immediately top the charts who are not veterans and who've been up there for a long time.
Yeah.
That's just what I think. So who do you think, Ken, would take over for Kanayan?
Well, if we were to rule the three major players, um, and remove Kodakumi from the board as well, Aimyon is probably one of those tops. Dalko is also one of those. Granted, it's a very niche player there.
Mm-hmm.
You also have Meiji, you also have Benny, but they're only,
I don't see.
yeah, because they,
Meiji only does
yeah,
cover albums. No
yeah,
offense.
specifically because they've been doing only cover albums as of late.
Benny's
Benny's newest
released
album,
studio.
she released a
Was
new album, but
cinematic,
yeah,
but I don't think it
yeah, I
charted.
don't think it charted as well. I'm not
And
right
it's
there.
really good, but it's a very different style than her usual music. It's very R&B influenced.
If this was a couple years ago, I would put Juju on top of that list also, but mostly because she's been kind of taking back.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to say.
I think it's a wait and see who can come up. And like Old Sky, she released a best album, but she's also a veteran who has kids, and you kind of rule her out because
Yeah.
it's just a very difficult
Thing, yeah. I mean, you
from
have to
here.
be
Yeah.
kind of active in the industry a little bit more, and that's why we kind of ruled out Utada also. Let's kind of wait and see, because who knows, she could take another break after this
Mhm.
year because Kingdom Hearts is done. Once Kingdom
Oh yeah, and
once
she's
Kingdom Hearts is done, I don't think she's gonna have the obligation to make a new song.
yeah, and she also has a child.
Yeah.
She has kids. So that also makes it a little more difficult for her. I mean, Kotokumi's pretty active in the music industry. She doesn't release singles as much, but she has this new Blu-ray coming out. She releases an album a year, but it's still not as active as like Aimyon, who releases, a couple singles, or Kanayan released a lot of singles, but not as many artists, veteran artists do that.
Yeah, because
So
they
I
rely on their name at this point.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like at this point it's a wait and see who starts charting. That we're going to have to just pay attention to the Oricon and see who kind of jumps up into this field and is going to take that spot. I mean, Aimyon has a new single out in April. I can see Miwa starting to release some new material. So it's going to be very interesting in this next year to see how this affects the solo artists in the music industry.
Yeah, it would be. And I'm excited to kind of see that weight, because you got three major contenders. You got Miwa, you got Dalko, you got Aimyo, who are most likely going to be the future of the industry as of right now for the next 5 to 6 years. So it'll be very interesting on what's going to happen with that.
It will. So I'm very curious. Too bad. I wish if Kamiki Aya would kind of jump in there and take that spot, and but I know she's been working on a lot of side projects and she's been with doing a lot of group projects. So
Yeah, the thing with her, like I said, it's another thing. Because she was a fairly popular name back in the mid aughts. So, like I said, if this was like 7 years ago, give or take, same as
yep.
Nakashima Mika, this would
Mm-hmm.
probably have been a different topic altogether. Because I would have thought that Nakashima Mika would have been on that chart. But because she's been kind of just taking up a side of her modeling stuff, and she did get married during that time. So,
That's very true. So I mean, it's a wait and see, but it's hey, it's less money I have to spend, but I shouldn't say that because Kana Nishino is one of those artists that I bought every single dang thing she's released. So I bought every freaking single, minus her first two, which I cannot get a hold of. And I have every Blu-ray and DVD release of her. So you can imagine the money I put into that. That takes a lot off my plate, but then there's other new singers I end up liking, so then there goes my money again.
yeah, but
So it'll be
it
interesting.
it will be, and I am looking forward to the next year or two because we'll see of how the industry might change because who knows, idols might take a little bit of a decline again because of all the lovely stuff with AKB. And granted, Nogizaka and Kiyakizaka might take that role,
Hmm.
but
And I have a feeling, if the Me Too movement does start sweeping Asia, that also might hurt the idol industry quite greatly.
yeah, and
And the only reason I say that is what's going on in Korea. So I'm kind of, we're kind of wondering, and we'll probably get into it later on. But well, I, it's just idol industry isn't doing as well as it used to. So we might see more of those become solo artists, and they might end up doing very well too. So
yeah, and like I said, it could be interesting because you got like Sashi Hadarino, because she probably is gonna do a solo career, because like literally the entire A single for the AKB song that's we're gonna be talking about for this week was literally Sashi Hara's solo act, pretty much, because
hmm
all the other songs on that single was solo songs. So, well, we can see, and we have other people that are going into solo acts, like with the couple of Momito Clovers. I believe the one that just graduated, the green member, she's also doing a solo act. Rini, the purple member from Momoito, is also starting to do a solo career. She didn't graduate yet, but because of the announcement of that, everyone thinks she is. So it's
and I would
yeah.
actually, there's a lot of ones we'd like to see up and coming. We might have one come out of nowhere and just start taking it by storm too. So
Yeah, and it'd be interesting because like I would want to see like Erie take it also, but she has a very distinctive sound that most people in the
hmm
public might not appreciate. Unfortunately,
hmm
her EP did really well this past week though, but
that's good to
I
hear.
was very happy to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, the future is very exciting for the music industry in Japan, and I can't wait to talk more about it, honestly. Something I really want to
Same
do.
with me.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited about getting more into this. So it'll be an interesting year.
Yeah, with the with the first 3 months being full of scandals and controversies and very exciting news, I can't wait for the rest of 2019 to be just as exciting, so to speak.
Yes, yes, it will. It will sure be.
But yeah, with that, like I said, I just wanted to do a small point five episode. I don't know what we're gonna call these. I don't even know if it's gonna go up on the
Special segmental.
special segmental.
Special.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if we're going to publish this within the regular stream. We might actually put it on the site itself or on YouTube directly. I'm not too sure. I have to talk to Gray about that. But yeah.
But I want to say thank you to everyone who is tuning into this, and let us know what you think of the special segments. So this is something we've kind of wanted to try out. So I feel like this is our first jab at it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's good to talk about this in the context of, not being limited to just all three of us, because unfortunately all three of us don't listen to the same thing, so it's kind of hard to bounce off of that if one or both members are not a fan of the genre that we listen to. So, and I figured that, just to have this is kind of interesting nonetheless.
Yes, and it's something good to get out there and bring something up, something a little for everyone. So I think that's all we have
Yeah,
for you
that is
guys
all we
today.
have
But
as of right
hopefully we
now.
do
For the
another
rest, we
one of
can
these
save for the
too.
show. We have a couple more things that we want to talk about, but you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at ongakudyu. You can find the site at ongakudyu.com. And also, if you guys notice on the site, there's a little thing called Kofi, and it's a thing that helps me stay awake for the most part because it buys me a cup of coffee to keep the site running. And we appreciate all the support that you guys give us. We do this out of the love of our hearts for the industry, but unfortunately, website management is kind of a lot. But yeah, if you want to donate, go right
Yes,
ahead. If
and
not, don't
yeah.
worry about it. I'm not gonna take offense of it. It's a free service for everyone. That's why. But yeah, you can find me at OTYKen1. You can find Gray at Ongaku Gray. And where can we find you, Luna?
You can find me on Twitter at LunaMaria87, or you can find me on Instagram at Nerdy Collector Luna, which has a lot of all my Blu-rays, CDs, and other goodies. So,
But yeah, I want to thank you very much for joining us on this little point 0.5 special episode of Ongaku. I'm your host, Ken, saying thank you very much and have a great day. Aloha.
I want to say arigatou gozaimashita to all the fans in Japan, and thank you very much to all the fans in the US. And a special thank you to Kamika Ayasan, along with Reida, Mabo, and Taizo. You guys were fantastic at Naka, and I hope you come back soon. Thank you everyone for listening to tonight's episode. Have a wonderful rest of your week. This is Luna signing off.